Kara Hart with Brownfield, taking a look at the plots and talking with the experts at MFA at the MFA Training Day in mid-Missouri. Joining me is Shannon McClintock, District Sales and Agronomy Manager. Really nice to be chatting with you today. Let's take a second and talk a little bit about this year's corn crop. I mean, that's not, of course, what we were doing here today, but I wonder what you're seeing across the state. How's the crop looking?
Well, first off, thanks for the opportunity today. So I cover southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, and we have corn anywhere from V8 to R3 this year. We had a lot of rain there right around planting time, so we had some early corn planted, kind of our typical time frame, and then we got pushed back a month. We had a lot of June corn this year. So in my region, it's pretty variable. The early planted stuff, you know, we've made it through pollination. We're starting grain fill. We're past fungicide timing. That later planted corn, we're just right there, getting close to that fungicide. So we're watching southern rust. That's our big threat right now on that later planted corn. So we're watching that. We're tracking it. We actually found it last week. So that's something that's on our radar for the corn crop.
Is that fungicide management then with the southern rust?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
So that's a fungicide time. That's usually typically with the airplane. We're putting that on. We'll put that on at VT. That's kind of the go-to method right now for fungicide management.
Well, thanks for that quick current growing season update. But of course, we are standing in a plot today, and behind us, I'm sure those of you tuning in can see we're in a corn plot. We're going to be talking about smart corn today. But what is smart corn when we think of MFA's definition here?
Yeah, so smart corn is just essentially short corn. Smart corn is a Bayer trait. Really taking our traditional corn that gets 7-8 foot tall and shorten it down to more 6 foot level. The idea behind it is, help with lodging and green stap. A few years ago, we had that derecho go through Iowa and the Corn Belt, and we had a lot of green stap. We had a lot of corn breakover. And so the idea is the shorter stature corn can handle those higher wind speeds, can help us in those scenarios. We just talked about fungicide timing. Another thing it can do is it kind of going to change our management practices. We're going to have a shorter corn. We can open it up to maybe doing more things with a ground rig. Maybe change our nitrogen timing, some nutrient management, water use efficiency. So there's some cool things we're looking at to see what we can do in the future for our growers.
Does that affect yield at all whenever it's a shorter stature corn?
So that's something we're still looking at. It's still fairly new. The idea is no, it's not going to affect yield. We're going to be, again, changing management practices. It's not going to be treated like our traditional corn, so we can bump seeding rates a little differently, maybe plant narrow rows. So the idea is to always be growing. So the idea is no, we're not going to limit our yield with that.
How did stewardship come into play with all the smart corn talk here?
So when we look at it from a management standpoint, we look at how we're managing our nutrients specifically. Traditionally corn on nitrogen, we put a lot of nitrogen up front. We don't really come in season because there's a lot of things logistically going on. A shorter stature corn would give us that ability to make those later season applications, give that crop the nutrients when we need it, rather than putting it all in front.
How does shorter stature corn differ from the more traditional hybrids?
So really, it's just really the height. It's got the same number of leaves. The ear size is similar. Just the distance between nodes is really the only difference. So there's been a couple companies that are working on it. They're traditionally shortening it through breeding practices. Bayer Smart Corn, they're actually genetically modifying. They're actually going in and editing the genes to make it shorter. But that's really the main difference.
Shannon, is there anything else you'd like to say about MFA Training Day or anything else that you're working on with short corn?
We're out here just to let our customers know we're out here the next couple days, training our staff, training our sales staff, our operations staff, making sure they're on the forefront of what's coming, and making sure they're taking the best knowledge back to the field.
Shannon, thanks for taking time to join today. Thank you all for taking time to tune in to this update. I'm Kara Hart, visiting with Shannon McClintock with MFA here at the MFA Training Day.